My friend's 460 didn't have a latching door, which caused it to be a problem when I had to get it inspected for it to be approved for Australian roads. So when you close the door with the incorrect amount of force, it would not shut or latch. Now, if you did it very gently, it'd latch in a semi-open position but hold. But if you got the force wrong, which is sometimes a bit of a game, it would spring open. So this meant I had to get this fixed for the car to get licensed. So you can see there's a lot of play in the lock there. Originally I thought the problem was the striker on the frame, but it was the lock evidently, which meant I needed to strip the door and replace the lock with a used part, taking off the handle, the locks around, window winder, shelf, and interior door lock switch. I appreciate this is not a standard door card. So the door card's off and all the bits are off, and there is the empty frame. Windows inside at this point. Now, the lock is secured by 3 Phillips, and you still need to take off the interior sill. The interior sill's got normally one screw at an end, and then it sort of slides up. This one had 2 screws. After I've done that, I take the window frame rubber out of the window frame. Then the frame needs to come off. Now there's 6 screws in this. They should actually be Phillips. Someone's got flatheads in here. So you can see these screws are spaced along underneath where the felt would normally be. Then there's 2 large Phillips at the base, one at the front and one at the rear, holding the frame in. So there's the lock mechanism on the back one. And then the glass needs to come out before the frame comes out, and the frame comes out from within the door, not outside the frame. Now this is the old lock. You can see there's a lot of play in the upper end of that mechanism. This is one out of a used car, and you can see there's not as much movement there, maybe not so apparent with my poor filming. But you'll also see the rubber surrounds. On the one on the left, which is the better used one, it is not grooved. The one on the right is the one that was on the car, which is heavily grooved. So we're going to put the one in from the left in. It goes in with the lock facing down, and you sort of rotate it in from top to bottom. You then do up those 3 Phillips screws, 1 on the rear and 2 from the internal. I then put the outer door handle back on, which has 2 10mm bolts. One is secured from the rear of the door and one from the inside. So just tightening them up. And then one from the inside you can see in there. So the handle to the lock mechanism needs the lever connected. You pop that in there and then put the little rotating piece on to secure it on there so it can't come off. And that's what you open and close the door with a handle inside. So at this point the door's not ready to test. Now with no glass or weight in it, it closes and latches but doesn't go the full distance. And I thought I'd have to adjust the striker, but actually,
alright, I'm going to adjust this.
This is with everything in it now, the glass and the frame. It gives it a lot more weight, and it actually closes pretty easily now. It's not perfect all the time, but it pretty much closes the majority of the time with much less force and reliably.